Hello and welcome to the first scene for the Sounds of San Antonio Underground. San Antonio, Texas, not the first place anybody thinks of when they think of the majesty of the dreaming and the terrors of the world of darkness, but that's only because they've never been here, the fucking schmucks. San Antonio is alive with culture, underground music, people trying to make something of themselves. People still say hi and tell you their life stories when you ask them for directions. And it's a place of friendliness and awfulness at the same time. And this is the city where we find ourselves. We start with Alice Amari sitting in her friend's garage, and I need to look up the friend's name real quick. Isabella Moreno. And Isabella has been pestering you as far as this new rock endeavor, has been pestering you that, well, rock requires people who actually play instruments. So you need to hold auditions, Alice. And it's been a long day of listening to very, very, very untalented high schoolers hammer away Metallica riffs on their pawn shop guitars. Nobody seems to own a set of drums in this town. And more than one of them insists on stupid band names like More Than Mortal or Caliber Kane, names that ultimately mean nothing but sound edgy. But you have finally come down to the last two names on the list of people who wanted to come and audition to be in your band. And the first of the final names is Dahlia Zion. And Isabel turns to you, Alice, and says, well, this sounds promising.
Alice slowly raises her head from the desk it's been laying on. Well, it couldn't be any worse.
I mean, Dahlia's a good name. There's like a dark edginess to it without trying too hard, right?
I'm just praying she can carry a tune. I'll even provide the bucket.
Well, she should be here any minute now.
When Alice said that, she was holding a, like little sandcastle type bucket in her hands, kind of hoping. Sets it down when the person comes in, takes a deep breath, smiles, and is waiting.
Yes. Go ahead and describe your entrance.
Okay. Will you see the message I sent you real quick just to make sure that I'm right about what I...
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, good. That's important. Okay, so they're in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
So I am I like called in or ushered in or?
Well, it'll be open, and you would have the address. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is okay. Okay. So a little, while this is all going down, car parks. The car like passes the drive and parks a little way, and it is a gold like Oldsmobile circa the early 90s. Like it's a very old car, and it parks a little ways down the street, and you can hear like the sounds of people getting out of the car and stuff. And a couple seconds later, you hear a sort of slightly shuffling gait, and a woman approaches the open garage, and she hold on, let me make sure I have the right photo up. Yes, she is older than you probably expected to see somebody walking up to your door. She looks something like this. If you can see that.
Yeah, I can.
Can you?
Yes.
Okay. She has like the sort of powder puff grandma hair, these big old glasses. She's in a vaguely sparkly blue like jacket top with black stretchy pants and a pair of like black shoes that are kind of nondescript, but they're probably orthopedic. She also has a bag over her shoulder. There are two what look like knitting needles kind of sticking out of it. And as she makes her way with it, she's pretty sprightly. She's moving pretty sprightly for somebody who looks as old as she does. She draws close and says, "Oh, thank goodness! I thought I was going to be late. Dahlia Zion, but most of my friends call me Dolly."
It's a pleasure. She's looking at her with now the smile has gone from forced to genuine. Having seen the car and not another high schooler, Alice herself looks like she might have just graduated high school herself. But she's sitting there, her friend next to her, almost now more. Isabella can tell she is definitely more awake at this point. with hope. Hope has returned.
And as she introduces herself, she reaches into her bag and she pulls out like it's a plastic quart-sized Ziploc baggie full of cookies. And she says, "Now, don't think this is a bribe. I'm not trying to stack my chances, but I made too many black and tans. So here." And she hands over a bag of cookies to whoever is nearest to her. Nobody's allergic to peanuts.
Isabella will take the bag of cookies. Thank you. She has this look of like, oh, good Lord, we're gonna have another day of auditions on her face. And she like looks to Alice.
Alice leans over and whispers, "She has a car. That's a good start."
Does she have to use her feet to pedal it?
Only if I want the exercise. Yeah.
She gives kind of a blush. Well, what do you do?
Oh, well, your ad said that you were looking for musicians, and since the kids are in college, I figured, we need something to sort of keep us active in our older years. And it's been a couple of years since I played for real, but it's always been a hobby of mine, and I was pretty good in my younger days, so I've been, trying to keep it up again. Do you have a drum set here?
I think I've got and she points to like in the back, there's like a couple of drums that have been stacked in the back underneath a tarp.
Okay. Oh, well, I could have brought mine, but Abe didn't want to help me set it up today, so we'll save that for next time. And she wanders over to the tarp and she like yanks it off, and it's dusty, so she's kind of her hands and gives it a once over, and she says, "Yeah, I'll do for an audition." And she takes those knitting needle things out of her bag, and they turn out to be a pair of drumsticks. And she sets the bag down and says, "Do I just go, or do you have something you want me to try to play, or something you want me to try to play with, or?" Well, this is exciting. This is gonna be fun.
Isabella sort of looks to Alice. Do you have anything you want her to play?
Metallica?
Is that those Yelly Boys? I think our Dave liked them when he was a little young. Something like that. And she kind of sits there for a second and thinks and says, "Okay." And then she starts to play the drums, and she's better than you would have expected. Like, she's clearly done this for a while, and I don't want to say she shreds, but she may shred a little. Puts up a passable, I want to say, minute or so of drumming to just, that's kind of in the vein of something like a Metallica might have in a song. She doesn't know any Metallica off the top of her head, but she has heard similar music and is kind of going for that angle. And then she does, the big finale finish with whatever pieces of the drum kit she has. And then once she's done, she says, "Woo!"
Was that? Yeah. That was mostly improv, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's little, a piece from here, a piece from there. I don't know if I can take credit for coming up with it all off the top of my head, but more or less.
Alice looks over at Isabella, the smile growing wider.
So your big comeback's going to be with Granny Clampett here on the drums?
She then points at the desert that is their list of drummers so far. and she's just pointing to it, like not showing it so that so that their auditionee can see, but more for Isabella's like try, because there's a list, everyone wants to play guitar or bass, but it's like she's pointing at the lack of drums.
As this is happening, Dolly says, "The Clampetts! Oh, that was a good show."
The best part is Isabella would know both the reference went straight over Alice's head.
She just kind of gives like a really forced smile. Well, I guess welcome to the band.
Oh, I gotta tell Abe he's gonna be so excited.
Abe! If you say Abe, she looks down to her clipboard and realizes the second name that she had hoped for. You don't have a grandson named Abel by any chance, do you?
He's handsome enough he could be. She continues to not get up from where she's
It's about that time that a man actually comes on in, and he's it's the best way I can describe him is looking sort of nebbish. I mean, he's an older sort of gentleman, salt pepper sort of hair, very much. I mean, he looks like he did something professional for his life for the most part, something like probably something more having to do with paperwork in the office or anything like that. But you can see the telltale spirals of a knocker on him and stuff like that as he comes on in, and he's busy twisting his wedding ring on his ring finger. It's like, Dally, I'm so sorry. I had to try and find a good parking space. Now, if you know I couldn't park in front of a goddamn I'm sorry, what's it? A fire hydrant right there. I had to park up like 2 blocks up. I'll make sure I pull it around after we're done here.
Fine. And then she looks at the girls, and in like a not very good stage master, she says, "He's so fussy, but he's so sweet."
Hey,
there's cookies, Abe. I brought the cookies.
You brought the cookies? That gives me gas.
Well, I don't mind. It's not like we're doing anything late. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Abe.
Abe Zion. My friends and family call me Abel.
Isabella looks like she's going to cry.
I don't think I ever caught your names, girls. I'm so sorry. That was so rude of me.
Isabella Moreno?
Oh, do you have allergies? I have something for that.
Alice Amari.
You're sweet. I like your, you get a fun this.
Mari, you one of them anime gals, and Chuck used to always go on about that sort of shit.
Oh, Charles did love his funny little Japanese pictures.
You mean, was I in Japanese pop music? Yes.
That wasn't exactly what I was talking about. Were you good for you then? How'd that go for you?
She looks around the garage, looks at Isabella. Great. I mean, I'm here in Austin, Houston,
San Antonio.
She's leaning over to Isabella. She's saying,
San Antonio.
San Antonio. So I mean,
Oh, that's okay. These things have a way of working themselves out. You'll see.
For sure. I mean, I was employed in a lawyer's firm for years before I finally had gonna saved enough for retirement, and here I am now.
It's great. I love seeing Antonio.
So what do you play?
Oh, well, mostly anything I can get my hands on, fix it up a bit, but mostly keyboards. Keyboards, you have a lot of things you can do with keyboards. You can put any shit you want into them. I mean, it doesn't have to sound like just keys. You can put any sound effects, guitar strings, trumpets, all that stuff, everything to fix it up.
Our Charles used to like to play it with fart noises.
Did you...
I always told Chuck never to touch my stuff. He always touches my stuff. I never understood why.
Did you bring a keyboard with you?
I'll have to go back 2 blocks to get it, but I can go get that.
I think we have one already here. Just nothing's preset on it.
Okay,
Factory
well,
new.
let me take a look at this thing. Let me look at this. You see this fucking thing is Bubkiss. He says as he's taking it up to the thing. It's like, look at this. It's just everything's just sticking. It's got that new key sticking thing. It's no good. Let me tell you something. It's no good here. It doesn't have personality. It doesn't have soul in it. That's what it doesn't have. No, let me show you. I'm gonna give it some soul here in just a moment. He says as he starts, he actually starts taking it apart.
Oh. What are
Alice,
you doing?
Alice is a mix of, knowing that he's a knocker then, Alice has a mix of horrified and delight on her face. She can't decide which to stick with on this one.
Oh, he's real good at this. Don't worry about it. You'll fix it up better than it even was running when you bought it. That's how we've had that car for so many years. Yeah. My first car.
Could have been the first car.
Alice is now leaning heavily in the seat.
It takes a little bit of time, It's not Boggin's work, but it's stuff like that. He's muttering under his breath in Yiddish from time to time. It's like a fucking Bubkiss thing. This one, Bobby Mesh. This is nonsense. They put all these extra pots here that you don't need. He just like throws out one of the circuit boards before just going in and rewiring a few things here.
The look of horror as you dismantle this expensive keyboard just slowly builds on Isabella's face.
And finally, eventually, he puts it together and stuff, and he gives a little bit of and he tests a few things, and it seems to be to his satisfaction. Like the keys seem to be sliding up and down a lot easier and stuff. The sounds coming out seem to be good. He was like, all right, this seems doable. This seems doable. Okay, where you want me setting up here?
Right there's fine. Do you have anything that you planned on playing?
Freebird.
I was thinking of some tradition to go into. What was that?
Hava Nagila.
That's kind of what I can do it in 3 different key, and I can do it in 3 different key changes for you. No problem. I can show you all the different ranges of style this baby can do now.
How are you with punk rock?
Punk rock? Oh, I mean, Dave used to listen to that all the time and stuff, along with the anime. Oh, where was that Chuck? I can't remember my kids these days. It's so hard to keep track of them all sometimes. But I think I can do that just fine. And see, gets the keys there, he sets it up, and then he just starts going into it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like he's like the top professional or anything like that, but he's going into it. He seems to be rocking out into this. It's just like, yeah, you see, you wouldn't have been able to get these tones like this during the if you just had it that way. You can only get this kind of quality when you get your hands in it and you understand the soul of the machine. You dig?
Didn't you just cut off like 4 inches from the cord, and now it's held together with what is that? Bubble gum?
Dolly over to the side is like,
It is definitely the most spirited performance so far for a keyboard.
Well,
And let me tell you, if I had more time with this thing, I'd make it be able to sing on its own.
He's done that before. It's quite a trick.
how are you guys playing together, though?
One second. Hold on.
Oh.
Get a dog. Hold on.
Dog thing. It's like, oh yeah, we can play together just fine, no problem. You'll have to excuse us. We'll excuse you for just a moment. I'm gonna make sure my wife's okay for just a second there. And like I said, probably something to do with the car or something not being close by. You know, any of those things could happen. So I'm just checking on her real fast. And so off he goes. Which is perfect timing for the other person to come in.
As the couple kind of scurries off to deal with something, Isabella turned to Alice. This has been interesting.
It's unique. I mean, how many rock bands have retired individuals?
I don't know, Fleetwood Mac, the Rolling Stones, but generally they were young when they started.
Good thing I'm the lead singer, she says.
Yeah, I don't carry a harmony too well, unfortunately. I've always been better with that bass rhythm there.
Let me tell you, we can sync up real good when we need to, and we've had a few jam sessions and practice before getting here anyway, so we can do it on something for you, right, Dolly?
Oh, always.
Okay.
You want to do that one? Oh, you know that thing we tried the other day?
Oh yeah. That was some really good inspiration you pulled out there that time. That was real good. Let's go with that one.
Yeah, let's do that one.
All right. Give me a performance and
The Soul of the Muse apply?
yes.
Okay.
That's why I'm having you guys do it. And I guess what? Charisma?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Performance charisma at diff 3.
There you go. Both of you. And it's in the Sounds of San Antonio Discord.
Let me open the Discord because I forgot that's how we do it.
Okay. So 3 successes for Abe.
I'm coming. Don't worry.
All right. And
oh my god.
Don't worry, Lindsay. We'll get you in here. By the way, welcome.
It'll be just a moment. As soon
It
as
just
it gets...
keeps buffing before the raid. Okay, that's fine. I don't need that. Just
all right.
Am I in there? Nope.
I saw someone named Princess Pancake load for a second, and then they dropped.
There we go.
There you are,
Yeah.
Princess Pancake.
San Antonio. Where are we?
Right above Suburban Apples.
San Antonio. It's / roll.
You can copy paste the thing I have and just.
I don't know how to. Oh, there we go. It's a performance in charisma.
Yep. Diff 3. So 1, 2, 3. 3 successes on both of us. So
No,
4.
she has a performance specialty, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 successes for her.
Yeah.
So there we go.
This time she for sure shreds.
Yep.
Yeah, Isabella's jaw drops and she just looks to Alice. So I guess a good chunk of your band is old then.
I prefer to think refined.
Yes. Well, I guess we practice about 3 nights a week. We don't have a band name yet.
Oh, you know who's good with that? Our Vera. She's got a mind for that kind of stuff. Very creative.
And she nods and she looks down at her clipboard and just trying to like cover her face. Yeah.
Anyone else?
She turns the page over. Oh, yeah, there's one name left here. And she looks at it, and I need to see what it is real quick because I only know the Fae name. Laura Miller is coming to audition guitar for you.
Looks at that. Looks at the massive list of people who came in with guitars. Nods.
So, I mean, at the very least, it can't get any worse than the guy who was sawing through the G chord the entire time. What was that song he auditioned with? Close to Missing? Oh.
It was an attempt.
It
sounded like cats being stepped on.
Well, you can get cats to have a nice tune. I can actually show you that on this keyboard here. Just give me a few minutes.
Custom jammers. Thank you very much, Mr. Zion.
Bubkiss. I'm going to show you that you can have a full symphony orchestra with the damn things.
So listen, you got to let the other kids have their turn, Abe.
No. We've been having the kids taking that turn for years now. It's our time, Dolly.
You're running a little behind to this audition, but you hear these sounds coming from a garage just up from where the street where you're running, and you hear 2 older sounding voices and 2 younger sounding voices, and perhaps the sound of digital cats.
Oh. Yowling to the tune of the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, she's trying to load a picture to Manycam. Okay. I guess we can wait. So if you guys want to continue small talk, discuss the name of the band, perhaps.
So how long have you been playing at all?
Oh, I don't know. Years and years.
Were you formally trained or anything?
Oh, well, I think Abe might have taken some classes, but and I did a little bit when I was real young, but mostly, raising 3 kids is hard, and when you're at home most of the time, you got to find ways to keep yourself busy, and it kept me from, there weren't a lot of outlets for women in my particular age bracket at the time, and you had to find something to do so you didn't hit the kids. So here we are.
I say they could have learned something, just sometimes you have to get a little hard with the kids from time to time. Put a little smack on them just to let them know that things get rough sometimes. They turned out good, okay, though.
Yeah, for the most part, they're all right. They're doing pretty good. Vera and Charles are doing pretty good. Dave seems happy. That's all that matters. I wish he wouldn't ride that motorcycle as much as he does, but, he's all right.
And
I don't think there's a problem with that. At least we had a good bonding experience over that motorcycle, him and I, building it together.
That's true. I do trust it to be safer than the average one out on the roads.
I mean, the gas mileage is terrible, but for the most part, it's a very good working machine.
A custom build.
Yeah, like I said, him and I built it together. As I said, never got to figure out how to make the gas mileage work better for it, but I mean, everything else is high octane.
I think that means it goes real fast. Those boys, they like things that go real fast. cars, women, all kinds of stuff. I was a bit of a speed demon in my younger days.
How long ago is that, ma'am?
Oh, when did we meet? What was it? Math.
Well, I'm trying to remember because I believe we were in college together, weren't we?
We were, yes.
Yes. It was Diane Franklin's party. Yes, that's right.
Diane. Shame about what happened to Bill. But yes, it was Diane Franklin's party.
Yes.
I should probably have mentioned too that Dolly's underneath the like froofy hair and the big glasses and stuff. She has like every once in a while, like when she turns and stuff, it's like almost like a ripple of moss or something, sort of like light green, and she has like these big like dinner plate eyes for a second and like kind of almost batty ears, but it's all in like these tones of like green and earthen. What's it? Yeah. Because she's a gourd.
Hmm?
She's like a little tree goblin.
Tree goblins. Oh no.
Oh,
The storyteller's gone. Fine, riot, everyone. It's time to riot.
Light
Riot.
it on fire. Light it on
We win. She's BRB, she says.
Fire is good. I mean, fire heals. Fire restores. Fire is literally all I do. So Michael knows.
I do know. Once upon a time, in a game far, far away.
Alice's solution to everything. Kill it with fire, heal it with fire.
Oh no, the ST's back. I guess we can't burn it down.
Well, that'd be a first for you guys. Usually it's the other way around. Carol's carefully crafted story.
What was that? So we're going to overthrow the nobility, and I think we need to.
I think we succeeded already. I mean, everything's in shambles already. Good job, team.
Welcome to the land of the burning sands, where the nobility sucks and the points don't matter.
Oh my gosh.
That's right. It's the points are exactly like Sir Carol's purpose in New York.
All I wanted was to do my drugs and meet some friends. And I showed up and they were like, by the way, we're having a class war. And I was like, huh.
That was, yeah, that was, yeah.
Canonically, this is a character who was there.
Yeah.
I love it.
And she left.
Yeah, Dolly is gonna, so, obviously you girls like music, but why a band? It's just like you looking for a fun thing to do with your free time, or is it you're trying to make this like your big break, or, you got any friends, tell me about your family, tell me about your lives. And she has a very, she's like a grandma. She has just a very like open, welcoming sort of vibe.
I just got out of pop music and I was looking for something new. Wanted to go in a different direction now that I've graduated.
Well, congratulations. Now that's a big mile marker there. I'm not as familiar with pop music, but it's an interesting genre. There's a lot of it that I can't really get into just because it's a little raunchy for my taste, but it's got a good beat. It's got a good vibe. I like the way it dances. She does like a little.
Japanese. She's about to go on the defense for it. Stops, thinks about it. Yeah, I can see raunchy, as you put it. It can be a little interesting. And so we both graduated. We wanted to come here. We were looking for a new start, somewhere far away from New York, as far away as I can get from New York.
Well, you done a pretty damn good job.
Thanks. And so we're looking for a break. We're looking to try something new. We both, well, this is what we went to college for.
Oh, look at you, real musicians. Abe, they're real musicians.
Well, that's nice, Dolly. It's good to see. He's actually still like completely taken apart the thing again, like muttering over certain things about, you know, the cats weren't yowling right or something. As he's
So yes, back to Laura now. So yeah, you're hearing this conversation going on, and
That's the one. That's the one. That's the word problem right there.
So, yeah, she comes in with her guitar and her little. She didn't bring like her giant amp with her. She brought her little portable one. And a bag of a bag slung over her shoulder that has some other equipment in it. And she approaches the group and says, sorry I'm late. Did I miss my audition time?
I mean, it's not a formal audition, but you are just a hair late. Time out. You have changeling eyes. Do you do anything to cover it?
Nope.
Okay. So Isabella just stares and seems a little uncomfortable looking at your eyes, and she turns to Alice. There's something weird about her.
She raises an eyebrow.
Well, she brought an amp.
Yeah, but she kind of got an edgy thing going. Like, what is that? And she's like whispering, what is that? Like eye tattoos or something?
Contacts.
She's sort of squints. It's a weird look.
Well, maybe that'll help us out. I mean, we could really use some more weird.
She looks at Abe and Dolly. I'm back at Alice.
I think I got it. Nope, that's lying. Sorry.
I mean, you know, it fits a theme.
Well, she looks over to Laura. What are you going to play?
Hang on a second. She knows her player does not. I have no clue what she's gonna play.
More
beforehand. Huh? More Metallica.
More Metallica.
Everybody plays Metallica.
Right.
It's appropriate.
Everybody plays.
You always wanted to hear Master of Puppets with the Yowling Cats? I can do that, no problem.
I mean, I was thinking that she'd probably play some Pat Benatar or Joan Jett.
Hell yeah.
Those are great. I'd go with either.
Yeah.
So yeah, she'll say, I am gonna play Joan Jett. I hate myself for loving you.
So if your performance score is above like 3, I'm not going to make you roll for it.
It's 4. She has Dex 4, Performance 4.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it'd be really weird if you suddenly failed it and didn't join the band.
I know, right? Like, I mean, it's possible that I could fail on 8 dice.
No. If you want to roll, you can. You don't have to.
How hard do I shred?
I just, I'm curious. I'm gonna roll for shits and giggles. Fuck it.
Roll to bust your amp.
Right? Like, well, hell, my keyboard really, like the rest of me, doesn't want to work. Nope. That's not what.
Clearly, Abe needs to have a word with your keyboard.
Right.
Several, in fact. I mean,
that's
Shred.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes. Yeah.
Yes.
She shreds.
shredding.
Like a motherfucker.
I'm glad we're getting all these good rolls out of the way.
Right?
Isabel seems very impressed by all of this. Like her eyes widen as you play the song, and she's like, moving her head to the music and turns to Alice like, okay, maybe your entire band is a freak show.
Well, I mean, we definitely need some kind of gimmick. So.
Well, we're good at gimmicks. You gotta have one for every decision you want the PTA to pass.
She looks over at Isabella and
do this campaign with this character. Jesus Christ.
PTA.
Oh yeah, Parent Teacher Association. For kids.
More like the Paternal Tyrants Association. I mean, we have been having to fucking deal with them for years with our kids, trying to stifle their creativity. Well, let me tell you something. Nabe Zion's not letting his kids do no standard finger painting. They're going to do their things with style.
Here, dear.
Sapphire's eyes widen a little bit, and she kind of glances over at Alice, like, is that for real? Like,
you really should hear them play. They're incredible.
Oh, you're so sweet. Dolly looks at her like a little bit, and she says, "Oh, the kids have been out of school for years."
Just so to build this scene a little bit, we have a knocker, a Korrid, a Clericon, a Selkie, and a Mortal. You guys can all see each other, and Isabella is just seeing old people, weird people, and her dear friend from college.
Yeah, she probably just thinks that Sapphire is some edgy fucking bitch. Like, she plays hard rock and wears these really weird blue contacts. Like,
Yeah.
It's a little too intense for my taste.
So, have any of you done any composition?
Sapphire raises her hand.
Not me so much. I mean, I've talked to a few musicians before. In doing my work here as mostly paperwork in the background of the lawyer's business. But writing contracts and stuff. Get to pick the brains of some things. Managed to encourage a few young individuals on making some of their greatest hits.
Most of my composition happened in a notebook years and years ago.
I have a degree in music theory.
Well, that's fancy. She's not being an asshole. She's legitimately delighted.
Which is great. And she can see that, so she just smiles. Like, oh, great.
He didn't have fun degrees like that one when I was looking at school. Let me tell you. Not for women.
That's a
And then Sapphire will nod her head and agree, especially if you're in
At
Texas.
the very least, my mother's passed on. May her soul rest in heaven. But and because let me tell you, she would have skinned me alive if I had tried to join a band while I was in college, even high school.
Yeah, your mother would have skinned you alive. God rest her soul. Love you, Donna.
so we have a guitarist, a keyboardist, a drummer, and I have vocals.
Great.
You made the cut? Are we in the band?
You're in the band.
Hey, we're in the band! More cookies!
Down.
She pulls a second bag of a different kind of cookie out of her giant purse.
You guys still need a name for the band, by the way. The Paper Tigers having the first round of Battle of the Bands in like a month. And I can't exactly submit our application without a band name.
Well, you did say we were a freak show, right? A freak show's not a band that's already been taken.
It's not bad. It's very menacing. It's like music nowadays, right?
All right. So, fair warning. This is me dipping my toes into rock and roll. Where I'm from, most of the bands, or I should say groups, have more light, sweet, sugary kind of names.
Well, then this is the perfect time for you to stretch your imagination.
So,
No, go ahead.
well, I mean, if we're, let me Google it. She's on her phone.
Well, freak shows sound a little too menacing, actually. I mean, we are an odd group of people here. I mean, most people aren't expecting, people in their 50s on stage for their first debut.
If we were all girls, that's just the Weird Sisters, but we got one boy.
If we're all strange, we could be the Strangers. Yeah.
I mean, I was also thinking the Ragtag, but the Ragtags or something like that.
Good too.
Yeah.
Ragtag is pretty good.
Actually, I'm legitimately intrigued to know if the Ragtags is an actual band name. But
the Ragtags.
Yep.
Everything's a band.
Well, this
Beautiful
is all
Strangers.
Isn't that the name of a song?
It is, but it's not the name of the band.
They're from Denton.
Well, there is a band. It's called the Ragtags.
That's I love it. Oh God.
Maybe something cultural. Ancient piñatas and the Japanese player.
I like
Shut
your.
down
I like
Tommy.
yes. Sorry. There's 5 of us.
4. Oh, Isabella's more working on
She's the manager.
Shinto Sunrise.
Hey, out of character, y'all. Band names are hard.
Yeah, I was like, I've never even been able to come up with one in real life. I don't know if I'm able to.
Spiritual Demise.
We could
That's pretty dark.
we could take a I don't know if it would be copyrighted from Steven Universe, but we could be the Crystal Gems.
Oh Lord.
She mutters under her breath, "Sealy surprise."
Give me an adjective.
How about wasabi punks?
Wasabi punk would be a genre.
That stuff will just burn you out. You better burn out through your nostrils. It's not a pleasant experience.
Well, if we're gonna go that route, we could go with Sriracha Heaven.
I do love the hot sauce.
We are in Texas.
Okay, so I did a band name generator, and I just need to share with you guys my 2 favorites. I'm sorry, my 3 favorites. Jaywalk Soda, number 1. Shopping of the Forceful. The king among band names. Sorry.
She can't even say it.
Stumpy DJ of the dumping failure.
Oh my god! No.
Stumpy DJ of the jumping failure.
Jaywalk Soda sounds like something that would come straight out of Japan.
Jaywalk Soda. Like, I thought she was trying to get away from J-pop. Like,
Succulent Pebble, Coping Pringle, Bottle of Oddly. This is great. This is such a great Blade Bag. That's
Bottle of Oddly sounds good.
it does have a nice mouthfeel.
Between the Ants and Me, Key Metal, Rage Against the Key. That sounds stupid. 20-inch Ants, Rock Guppies of San Antonio,
about the dreamsicles.
Saving Alice.
Saving Alice.
Which I kind of like.
Wow, way to tell your twists ahead of time, Carol.
Saving Alice sounds good.
I actually don't hate that. And it's kind of apropos.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I can work with that.
All right, so we meet 3 times a week for practice. We'll be meeting here until we find a bigger place.
I mean, we got the whole house, you know. If y'all wanted to be somewhere where there's air conditioning or, you know, walls on all the sides.
I converted my garage into a practice space / recording studio.
That seems more appropriate.
And it's air conditioned because, yes.
And you said you had a folk drum kit?
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to cart it all the way down here to set it up. I figured if you're running the auditions, you'd have something I could use. Abe's built it for me a couple times.
Great.
He'll probably build it again.
I have a microphone, so
I have a lot of equipment. She nods. Like, basically anything anybody needs, she has.
So since we're all part of a group now, is there anything else you guys can think of that we could use? Any other instruments, ideas?
As you're talking about that, Isabella stands up. She's like, I'm going to go get something to drink and start dinner. You guys can discuss amongst yourselves. I'll be back. And she heads in. And about like 5 minutes after she heads in, another individual heads up the street. And he's a stout individual. He's very broad, but like well-built stout, not like... So and since all of you are changelings, you can see he has an odd look about him. He has long, droopy ears that are kind of furry, but and he has a mouth that stretches all the way across his face, and glowing yellow eyes and 2 teeth, fangs that kind of just jut out just past his lips, and he's sort of whistling a happy tune as he carries along a guitar case with him, and he sort of peers his head around the corner of the garage, and he's like, "Am I too late for the auditions?"
No, I mean, come on in.
And the individual sits down. This is not a kith any of you have seen before. And since none of you are brand new baby changelings, you've probably seen a pretty hefty amount of them.
Yeah, hey, I'm married to a Chorid, okay? She's not part of the Core 13, you know. You mean all sorts of weird shit.
Yeah, and Alice has had personal experience with in anime, so she is definitely like, what?
Dolly leans over to Abe and she says, "Do you think he's into that body modification?"
Yeah, Abe's twisting his wedding ring. It seems to be a nervous habit on him. I should mention, I forgot to mention, he actually wears 2 rings. One's the wedding ring on his right finger, well, on his left hand, of course, where he's twisting it. But on the other hand, there's a perfectly it's a very plain copper band. But it looks like it's been polished smooth. Like if there were etchings or anything on it once upon a time, they've been really rubbed away. But it looks old. But aside from that, it shines really bright just because of the amount of time someone must have spent rubbing it. But aside from that, he's looking at this individual and his lips are sort of pursed for a moment as he's looking at this individual. There's not necessarily skepticism, but there's something on there where he's not entirely sure about this. It seems a little too Baylor-y for him.
Would you like
What was
There's
it?
black and tans and plain chocolate chip. But I have to say, my chocolate chip have won best cookie at most bake sales for the last 30 plus years.
He gives kind of a an awkward smile, and he extends a hand. The name's Mateo Sanchez. Nice to meet you.
Mateo Sanchez, pleasure.
No, Mateo. Never mind.
Mateo.
And
Sorry. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
that's good. It's good. He just
Mateo
enough.
Sanchez. I love it.
Sorry.
Well, Maddie, what are you planning on playing for us?
Maddie. Manny.
he looks kind of awkward as he looks open his guitar case and pulls out a bass guitar.
I'm the bassist.
That's the one I was going to say was the guitar with only the 4 strings. That's what we need.
Well, I play a 6-string, but yeah.
We know your guitar only has 4.
So Sapphire kind of lights up that he pulls out a bass. Like, yes, a bass is it's great.
And yeah.
I was gonna say Alice is crossing off her list. Get bassist lessons.
I mean, if Sapphire could dual play guitars, she would play both, but that's not possible. So,
he starts to he does some finger warm-ups real quick, and then he's like, I'm gonna play My Name is Mud by Primus, and he starts playing the Les Claypool bass riff, which is the lead instrument in Primus.
Well, Sapphire's digging the fuck out of it. Like, yes.
I learned something today.
I learned something today. Oh, man.
I am reciting the only factoids I know from playing bass back in the day.
Bum, 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 bum. Oh, that was Pantera and Walk. Anyway.
So yeah, and he finishes and he's like, "Well, how did you like it?"
That was great. Oh, you're also talented.
Yeah, Sapphire claps and she nods and looks at Alice. That was incredible.
No, it was great. Yeah.
And,
Yeah, you've got some chutzpah there, kid.
And he
This-
kind of looks
This fucking
around.
couple is gonna kill me. God.
I should apologize to anyone watching this if I mispronounce anything Yiddish. I'm not a native speaker myself, so I apologize ahead of time. Moving forward.
Mateo kind of gives a look around and he's like, okay. Because Isabel's still in the other room, he points to Laura and he's like, Selkie, Knocker. And then he looks at Alice and Dolly. What are you? I'm sorry.
We're just getting it right out of the way, aren't we? No, I like it.
As I said, he's got chutzpah.
Knocker,
forward
I
than the
hardly
rest of
know her.
Oh my god.
Wow, I thought I was ready for this. She smiles wider and stands. Clara-chan.
And he well, that's a first for me. And he looks at Dolly. And you, ma'am?
She blinks those like fucking the Lemire eyes. You know what I mean? She says, "Oh, Corin, it's okay. Most people don't know about us. It's fine. It's fine.
You learn
And-
something new every day.
And
What about
then
you, dear?
yeah, she points to him. Yeah, what about you?
Got a situation happening that I'm very interested in."
He smiles and those long lips kind of curl up and the ears perk up and he's like, well, I'm a kukui.
The hell is that? Like just straight out, what the fuck is that?
We've been in San Antonio for a while, right?
I've lived here my whole life. Oh yeah,
No,
you
no,
guys.
no, I'm sorry.
Yes, you guys have been here for.
Yeah.
That's why your list is significantly longer than the others.
Yeah.
Would we know Kukui then?
Yeah, you would have heard it.
Oh,
You're
okay.
gonna have to remind me.
The last Kukui we know, what was that, 1964? Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
You. So good to meet you.
He gives kind of like a nod and a bow sort of thing. There's not a lot of us left, but
Oh, that's for damn sure.
so, and he well, I appreciate you listening to my audition. Am I in the band?
I
mean,
I would say so.
is this a
That was
democracy
incredible.
or what?
Sure. Absolutely. We practice 3 times a week. We're going to be moving our operations thanks to Laura,
Sapphire, please call me Sapphire.
Sapphire.
Sapphire. I knew a girl who called herself Sapphire a while ago. She wasn't as pretty as you, though. You had a lot of
She blushes a little bit, like, oh, thanks, Mom. She's definitely got mom energy. It's great.
hard mom energy. Chaotic mom.
Great. Is there a band name?
Yeah, we're still trying to figure that out. Actually.
I
I
think
thought it was
we're
Saving Alice.
Oh no,
think
we got
we're-
saving Alice. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'll write that down before I forget it.
Yeah, please, because I'm going to forget it.
I guess names are in order.
That's probably smart.
Alice Amari.
Oh, Abe Zion, and this is my wife Dolly.
Hello. Dahlia, if you want the long form.
Laura Miller, but I go by Sapphire. I much prefer that.
Like I said, my name is Mateo Sanchez. You can call me Mateo or Matt if you feel like shortening it. He says with kind of like a wince of the wince of somebody who doesn't like shortened versions of his name.
Mateo. You're not.
Mateo.
All good, Maddie.
I'm gonna get it might
So-
take me a little while.
It's funny, Sapphire pronounces it pretty correctly with just that little bit of twang that she has. So it's kind of really
Yeah.
hilarious here.
Yeah, I was just gonna call him Maddie from now.
Oh, he does that with our Charles too. Our Charles hates it. Calls him stuff all the time.
As you can see, we're lively.
Dolly is spinning one of her drumsticks in a startlingly dexterous way.
So
The arthritis hasn't settled in.
Pretty spry.
Go, well then, I guess we should go celebrate. There's this little place called the Mad Hatter's Tea House and Cafe. Would you guys be interested in going?
Sure. Let me. I'm gonna go grab Isabella.
Mhm.
Oh
I know
yeah.
that. Don't know that.
Oh, by the way, Abe says that she goes off to grab her. What was the name of the other person? Sorry, I just had it.
Mateo?
No, not Mateo.
Isabel?
Isabel. Isabel there is one of them normies. You get what I'm saying, right, Maddie?
I know. He says, and he taps the bridge of his very broad nose.
Oh, you smelled her. I get it.
He shakes his head and just looks.
No, I mean he looks like a snake. Of course, they taste the air. They taste things.
You know, at the end of the day, if the sensory information is the same, I don't understand why it matters what organ it's done with. He's like, we have this argument all the time.
I don't know what misconception you have about the kukui. No, I'm not a snake. I'm a kukui.
Yeah, and I'm a knocker. You don't hear me talking about it every 5 minutes.
You're the one
Oh
saying
my
I taste my
God.
tongue, cabron.
Abe gets the script. He's got a lot happening up here, and every once in a while, some of those thoughts, they just kind of stick together. So you gotta forgive him occasionally. Those tracks.
It
I
takes
only know
Alice.
because I got the train schedule.
It takes Alice a moment to come back. She actually gets changed since they're going to be celebrating, and she's been sitting in the same outfit in a garage in the wonderful San Antonio sun for a while now.
Yes.
Yeah, it is warm.
Isabella looks a little confused about the band having grown while she was inside, but
Every group needs a bassist, right?
My bass playing hand. Oh no, there goes the band. Anyway.
she just gives sort of a shrug. She's like, it's already a freak show as it is. What's one more? At least this one looks normal, she says. She points to the very weird looking.
You know what I like about you? Dolly points at Isabella and she says, you just share your opinion all the time, and it is so refreshing to see in a young woman. It's been so many years. Keep that. You hold on to that.
she just sort of gives that. Oh, okay. And she's like, we can catch the Via bus like 2 blocks from here.
Oh, we have an Oldsmobile. You know how many people you can get in there? At least 9.
Boy, because I've actually expanded the seating.
He did do that. Our kids call it the Beast.
Oh,
Could fit an entire soccer team +2 in there. Tops.
We've done it before.
Alice
Granted,
is
they were
thinking,
only about 13 at the time, but you know.
Alice is thinking back to New York, all the knocker contraptions. Looks at the Oldsmobile. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. I made sure to fill it up. The gas gauge doesn't work or anything, so it's so I just have to time it right.
Mateo's like, well, I guess we all gotta die from something.
You ain't gonna die from an empty gas tank. The car is.
And on the positive side, if we're stranded in the middle of the nowhere, we have our instruments and we can play for money.
I mean, heck, I could hook up that amp to the car and get some propulsion going if need be.
That Sapphire looks kind of appalled. Like, that's amp abuse. No. No.
Oh,
I
she's
don't
real
think
good
that
with
will be
his hands.
necessary, but thank you.
Yeah, I told you. I failed this thing up already, so we're good to go.
All right.
Now, where are we heading, son?
The Mad Hatter's Tea House and Cafe. Have you heard of it?
Is that the one we know about?
You know about all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know how to get there. I got a real good shortcut to get us there. No problem.
They make a damn good London fog, I have to say. RVR used to like to go there.
I'm going to the Mad Hatter's Tea House. Well, this is completely appropriate.
The drive there, in spite of having to take topper wine or Parambyl, is fairly uneventful, aside from the typical Texas jackassery on the road.
So we always get killed at least twice.
Yeah, people don't want to let you in to merge with traffic because that'll challenge their macho is whatever. Like, I don't know.
I have a Texas-made Ford F-150. I'm sorry. I have somewhere to be.
Yeah, if you
Sapphire
get
will
too close,
just randomly
they brake
cuss
check
people
you.
in Spanish. It's fine.
But you arrive at the Mad Hatter's Tea House, and when you go in, it's a mixed bag of mortals and changelings. It's a very there's a high glamour quality to this place. It's light, it's airy. There's art from local artists on the walls. One of the baristas, a changeling, another one's a mortal. It is a mixed bag. And you guys managed to find a seat on the little sitting room edition that they have there. It's got several large chairs. Mateo and Isabella and anybody else who wants to chime in can push into a circle. And there's another table in this room, and they're sitting across and not paying much attention to you. And they're two she. And they're kind of talking in hushed tones, but they kind of look over at Alice every now and then sort of to each other. And you get the sort of impression that they're doubting their senses, that they're looking at who they're really looking at.
Can I hear them?
Roll me perception, alertness.
Nice.
I'd roll, but when was the last time Alice ever succeeded at that roll?
I don't know.
Yeah.
3 successes or 2 successes. Yeah. You hear them saying something along the lines of, wasn't she a baroness? Do you think David knows she's here? Do you think she's on his side? Is she part of our thing? Is she reinforcements?
So Dolly is kind of slouched in this chair, this comfy, she's a little old lady, she's got her arms up, and where are they in relation to her?
The other side of the room. So here's the room, here's your circle of cushy chairs and stuff, and then here's a little cafe table on the other side of it, and that's where they are sort of murmuring to each other.
So she kind of glances over for a second, and then she looks back at the group and she says, I'm gonna run to the bathroom. You know how it gets. And she gets up and sort of like wanders like past that table, and she's still kind of listening as she goes. And as she like kind of circles near, she just says quietly, Are they male, female?
One male, one female.
Okay. She kind of sidles up and she says, "Pardon me. You know what they say about gossip? It is much more enjoyable if you share."
Oh God!
The male, he's got very dark hair and like a very well trimmed goatee, and he just sort of kind of scowls at the presumptuousness of this small creature, kind of saying. But the woman laughs, and she's got like her hair has that ombre effect, and at the bottom it's sort of a tealish green, and she just gives sort of a chuckle. And she's like, "Oh goodness." Is that Alice Amari you're sitting with?
Well, I just met her this afternoon, but I think it might be. Who's Alice Amari?
Wow. Rumor has it she used to be a baroness, which makes us wonder if she's been sent in, because, well, word on the street is since Greyhawk's gone mute, well, Audrey's looking on at bringing Burning Sands back into the fold.
Really? That is interesting. Well, she seems like a very driven young woman. I don't know what she's here for exactly. It doesn't seem to be any of that, but that is good to know. Thank you very much. She pulls a couple of the cookies out of her bag, and she takes two of them out, and she gives one to the woman, and then she looks at the man, and then she gives the other one also to the woman. Have a pleasant evening. Great to meet you. And she continues on her way to the restroom.
So you guys get to see that exchange because it was not far from you.
Yeah, no, she's not being subtle about it at all.
Yeah. Oh, that's Dolly. Always able to walk up to people, no problem, can just integrate herself anywhere. Me, I have the opposite problem. People keep coming up to talk to me all the time. I mean, I always seem to just see like the lights go on their head in mid-conversation. They say they gotta go. They're always rushing away.
Oh Lord. So anyways, but aside from that, you guys could have heard the female she explain what she thought to Dolly without a perception check. So
Alice mutters under her breath, only so the people at the table could hear, "I'm not here for politics."
I'm in the bathroom, so I don't know that.
Sapphire just nods like, yeah, I figured.
The problem with these schmucks is they don't care whether or not you want to be in politics or not. They'll drag you in to kicking and screaming if they can. That's why you got to be clever. Stick to your guns and have the power to back it up, too.
Tried being clever last time, and that got me directly into the center of everything.
The two like look at their watches and they stand up and they're like, "Well, it's time for us to go. We have an appointment to keep in the parking lot." Now, this edition is windowed, so you can actually see out into the parking lot. And what you see is a vehicle pull up. And it's a fairly nondescript white van. And the side panel door opens, and two very large, initial glance says troll. Two large trolls are carrying in between them a what looks to be a dog puka. And she ask it a couple of, or apparently talking to it because the dog is speaking. You can't hear what's going on with the dog. And then you see the male she shrug and pull out a gun and just shoot the puka in the head.
Alice stands at that point, her hands slamming into the table as she does so.
Oh, jeez.
Sapphire's jaw drops. What the fuck?
Dolly returns from the bathroom.
Alice,
The sound of gunshot has created quite a bit of chaos in the cafe, by the way. You're not the only ones responding to that.
Wait, what happened?
There was a gunshot. The she left. They went into the parking lot. Van arrived. Two very large, first glance troll, pulled out a dog, Puka, and the male she executed it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going straight up gangster here in San Antonio.
Alice is
Apparently.
grabbing the teapot from the table and walking towards the door, holding a pot of hot tea.
Nope.
Dolly comes out. Dolly comes out from the bathroom. I'm making a character choice right now that we did not discuss. And she looks like kind of irritated, and she has like her purse is on her shoulder, and in the hand that she has like near her purse, she has like a small caliber handgun.
Oh, geez, Dolly, you came here packing again?
I got my concealed carry license for a reason, Abe. What the hell's going on?
Look, I told you every time, if we're in a really big situation, I got the concealed carry.
We'll hear this.
We'll hear that.
I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the uppity bastard. No, come on. That girl's going to get herself kid out there if we don't do something. Come on.
The rest of the restaurant is either like fled or is like cowering in a back corner, waiting for other like anything else to happen. As you make your way out to the parking lot, you're there just in time to hear the door of the van slam shut, and the vehicle peels away, rather, leaving the now dead body, because it's no longer a puka, it's just the guy.
Oh, jeez.
Why does this happen every time we go out?
What did he do? And why was it done in public like this?
Alice is probably leading the pack with that hot teapot.
Yeah.
Yep. Alice is pointing her finger angrily at the peeling away car. Get back here right now. I am armed with a teapot and angry.
Dolly pats Alice on the back and kind of like gives her a shoulder like an affectionate squeeze, and she says, "Great enthusiasm."
If I knew just a little bit more, how to affect inanimate objects, their car would be on fire.
That's great thinking and all, but it's probably best that you don't do that just in things. I mean, we're already having enough trouble with the gunshots.
Sapphire is thinking I could probably catch it, but that would break the sheet. So we're not doing that.
Besides, if you're one and answers, it's those two over there, especially the one who just executed a person, which I'm just saying right now, probably not a good idea to go talking to the man who's willing to just kill someone in a parking lot.
Oh, they're not there anymore.
Oh,
they got in the van.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Well, that's why I'm armed with a teapot.
Did I see that happen?
You would have been coming back as the chaos ensued because
Okay. Well, I was wrong to give them cookies. I'll admit that. That was on me.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't the one you gave the cookies to.
Also, he seemed like he had a bad attitude. Who's this fella? She kind of starts like looking him over. I watch a lot of that Criminal Minds,
Yeah, Sapphire will start checking his pockets for identification.
You just get your fingers all over the dead body. You're going to get things. The cops are going to be coming here. There's going to be questions.
Perception investigation.
Okay.
Oy vey.
Well, I didn't see them, so.
Sorry, it's just not a good sight. I need to keep my been having indigestion problems. This is already working me up bad.
Right.
Any antacid? Got any antacid?
What type of person does this?
Well, certainly not. Not a good one.
Okay, are those both of your perception investigation rolls? Oh no, just Sarah. Okay. Okay.
Oh, I was looking too. Right.
Yeah.
Whoops. Sorry.
Yeah. You roll too.
Not great.
One success. That's fine. You find his wallet. It's just filled with the usual like mortal stuff. His name is Percival Jones.
Quite a name. I said that's quite a name.
Percival?
Percival.
Percival Jones.
I read that.
He's roughly he's not a very old. He's not old. He's a very young man, about 25, and yeah, he's been executed. If you want, let's see, Erica, you would find that, and like in his pocket is a small chimerical like pendant, and it's been like cracked in half. So it's like barely hanging on by a piece of like a metal that would like the pin that would pin it to a lapel. But it's in his jacket pocket, and it's the as far as you can tell. Actually, roll me in intelligence politics.
I do not have any politics.
So higher difficulty then for intelligence.
Would Alice notice this pendant coming out?
Yeah, you can notice it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make an intelligence politics roll because I actually have that. So
All right.
I actually have one in politics, and since
That
I'm
is a
assuming it's local,
I botched that roll with my 2 fucking dice.
Oh, I do. I have 2.
and I got 2 successes on that. So
All right.
Alice, however, knows everything, having been a baroness once.
Alice, perhaps it was in your, time in the freehold, learning all about being noble, but you recognize this coat of arms as the coat of arms of Chief Greyhawk before he went silent on everybody. But it's his coat of arms, and it's a small chimerical, but it's chimerical porcelain, and it's been broken. There was rumor that people would wear these pins. Like, you spent time with Mariposa, and so you would have heard like people wear these pins to show their loyalty to him, no matter what choice he made. As far as the choice to sort of separate from Concordia proper. So he has this broken pin that is that symbol in his pocket. Those of you who got 2 successes, they're local. You've seen locals with this same pin. They occasionally wear it. Dahlia, you're curious. So you probably asked a couple of people around it, and they're like, "Oh, well, Chief Greyhawk, his choices have kept us separated from David Audrey's general crappiness. He disappeared, he reappeared, he locked himself in a tower. None of that is our problem because Chief Greyhawk realized shit when he saw it.
Cool. This is her reaction to like pretty much everything that's happening.
Perfect. And I guess that leaves us with Sapphire. Sapphire, you look at and you think it's garbage, and you fling it over your shoulder.
That works. Like, what the hell is this? And she tosses it.
Alice will relate to the others what she knows, and then
Yeah.
go back inside to check on
Abe's-
Isabella.
Abe's going after that pin, and he grabs it, and he's looking at like the crack on it. Trying to get an idea, like, did it break? Did it crack, like, magically or something like that? He's taking a look at it.
Okay, give a perception.
Craps.
Yeah, sure. Go with that. Perception crap. That's a good one. Isabella is like hiding under the table and like crying because she's like, "Oh my gosh, my idiot friend went where the gunshot was, armed with a teapot."
Dolly is gonna do some crowd control, and she's gonna try to soothe people, and she's like handing out cookies and saying,
That's 2 successes.
Alice is back and with Isabella and like, no, it's okay. It's my usual dumb, but like everything's fine out there.
And she's like hugging you like that like panicked friend hug. Like, I'll never do that again. You cannot fight people with a teapot, you lunatic.
Dolly, seeing this, kind of like wanders near enough to Alice that she can hear her and says, "We might want to keep your friend inside until they clear the dead guy off." And kind of, just like is like,
Yeah, nods her head.
yeah.
Okay. So what Abe gets from his investigation of it is it was broken like from pressure. Like somebody was trying to keep it in their hand. There's like small specks of blood where it was probably dug into somebody's palm. And while they were messing with the body, we'll say there was a mark on his hand. So it's not a leap of too much of a leap of faith to think that it probably broke because he was holding on to it tightly.
Mm-hmm. They're probably trying to take it from him.
Mm-hmm. The changelings that were in the Hatter's tea house are muttering amongst themselves. They seem very concerned about this.
Do they?
And one or two of them actually have the same pin pinned on their own lapel.
I'm gonna talk to those people.
Okay. The first one is a young woman. She's a knocker, like Abe.
Great.
And she's just sort of like, "Oh, freaking fucking what the." She seems at a loss for words.
Take a couple of deep breaths. Everyone's okay. Danger has passed. Dolly Zion. Why don't you have a seat? You look like you might want to sit down before you fall down. You doing okay, darling?
She just sits down. How could I be fucking okay? They just fucking cootie grabbed this guy in the fucking parking lot.
That part was less okay, but the okay part is that now they're gone and we're fine. You have some, and let's get you some water. Will you give me some water? Thank you. And she's just like, and then she does like the mom thing, just the like, "Oh, you wouldn't believe some of the stuff I've seen," and then like da 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 da, like just kind of, she's doing that thing where she just like talks at her to kind of like try to calm her down, and until she's sort of like, okay, like not focusing. She wants her to stop focusing on the craziness, and then says something about it segues from that into like, "Oh, and you were just here to have a nice night, it looks like, and oh, you look so stunning. I love your little pin here. What is that?"
And she like realizes she's wearing it, and she's like, "Fuck!" And she starts fiddling to take it off. She's like, "I'm sure that's why they fucking shot him, trying to send a fucking message. Fucking
What message? Oh, let's slow your roll there, motorboat. Okay. You're probably right, but I'm not totally sure about what. What are you? What do you mean for retaliation? What you talking about?
That's Percy. He
Oh, darling. And she kind of like, I'm so sorry.
and she just sort of scowls and nods, and that's a message. They shot him to send a message.
I would suspect so. Yeah, that seems very likely. To you? To who?
She just sort of looks, and she looks at your lapel, sees no pin, and she's like, nothing. It's nothing.
Well, I know it's got to do with that Greyhawk fella. His name's on everybody's lips tonight, so. But, I mean, I've been around for a long time, and I'm not a huge fan of the she, you can imagine. And she kind of does that, like she winks one of her, like, big, horrid eyes. My husband's a knocker, actually, but, we made it work. We moved out here, and where things are a little looser. But it looks like maybe somebody's trying to tighten it back up, and I don't know if I care for that. I'm retired. I don't need to deal with that.
And she just sort of giving that look of like, oh, I talked to her, like that internal struggle in her head. She's like, if you're against things being tightened back up, I'd be worried.
Well, not all things. And she's like trying to make her laugh, a little bit.
She gives like sort of like mirthless chuckle at that. Like,
well, I will keep my very predominant ears peeled in that case. But are you going to be out? Do you have people here with you? Do you need me to call somebody for you? You need a ride? We got room in the Oldsmobile.
And she's, no, I've got my own. She points to a motorcycle, and it being a knocker possession, it is whoa.
Our Dave drives one just like that.
It's very cyberpunk-esque thing. Yeah. So she's just like, well, good for Dave. And she goes, and she's like, I'm gonna go check my bike and make sure nothing hit it. And she wanders.
And I don't know if you have any friends around here now, but I know somebody needs to claim the fella outside, but it might be smart if the rest of you weren't around here when the cops come, because you never know,
And she nods, and she like meanders around to the other people wearing the lapel pins, and you see them like all kind of like subtly removing their own pins and stuffing them in their pockets, and they meander off, and it is not very long until the cops arrive. And I think this is where we're going to end this session, because it's getting close to the time that people have said that they need to go. So anyways, thank you players for playing, and we'll see you next time.